Welcome, everyone, to the Bottom Line Podcast. My name is Nathan. I'm joined here by Alex and my friend Will. Today, we're going to be going over the second episode of Raw on Netflix and this last Friday night SmackDown. We're going to give you some of our thoughts, our takes, what we predict for the future. We got Royal Rumble coming up. We also have Saturday Night Main Event. And we're just going to go segment by segment, our thoughts, and whatever you guys are thinking. If you think that we're dumb and that we have terrible takes, let us know in the comments. We want to know. So to kick things off, we're going to start with Raw, of course. We're going to have CM Punk kicks off the second episode of Raw and announces that he'll be joining the Royal Rumble. He makes multiple references towards Cena in this segment. Then Seth Rollins comes out, interrupts him when he says, "Hit my music." And then Drew McIntyre also inserts himself as well. What are we guys thinking about that segment?
The best part of the segment to me was when Punk turns around towards the camera that's at the announce table and goes, "Why can't it be Rhea Ripley who interrupts?"
Yeah.
I died. I was on my couch rolling laughing at that part.
Yeah, good segment. I think really funny. I saw the other day somebody cut together all the reactions that CM Punk has had over the last couple of months from people interrupting him. So I think this is kind of the rolling joke that somebody comes out and interrupts CM Punk. And first thing I really like about it is it sets up CM Punk in the Royal Rumble, which is going to be fantastic. And now we're starting to get a star-studded cast of Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers that are going to be in this match. And I don't know that I've ever been more hyped for a Royal Rumble match. So
this is one of the more full Rumbles.
Yeah.
It's stacked.
I haven't yet heard of someone declare for the Rumble that I wasn't excited to see in the match. I think it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
As I suspected, Seth Rollins is not done running down CM Punk. We knew that they weren't just going to have the one match at Raw Netflix. So, but surprisingly, we're actually going to get a Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins match on this coming up week's Raw out of this. So, really great segment. I think it achieves what it meant to achieve, which is what's the next step for CM Punk. And actually, I'm pretty excited to see Seth versus Drew McIntyre. It was really a setup match for the cash in at WrestleMania, and I think it deserved more than that. So hopefully they give it that on this Raw coming up.
Yeah, I'm very excited for next week's Raw. Drew and Seth are going to kill that, of course. If it was anything like their Mania match, it's going to be very good.
Their Mania match was terrible.
I thought it wasn't bad.
It was awful. I remember watching it with you guys going, "This is bad."
Seth was injured.
Damian Priest doesn't
the
cash
fact
in,
that Seth came out and did that match anyway is to be accounted for.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm not taking anything away from him working while injured. I'm just saying the match was not good. What made the match was the cash in.
That's true.
And then obviously CM Punk getting involved and stuff like that. So that was my point. I hope now that Seth's at full health, they can put on a pretty good match
for sure. For sure.
Anytime Seth and Punk are in the ring together, it's just gold.
Mm.
Anytime they have microphones, like you could literally send them out there and just like promo against each other for the next 3 months.
My favorite part was
would be great TV.
Yeah, my favorite part about that segment was when they were like, "Oh, okay, so you want to fight? Let's fight." And they throw it down, and McIntyre's like, "Oh, is this what you want? You want Punk, Seth, and McIntyre on Monday Night Raw?" Oh no. You thought.
Why on earth would I do that?
This is free TV. We don't do that here.
I think this promo actually confirms something for me. I think it's a certainty that we're going to see John Cena and CM Punk go one more round.
He's made enough references really to it now. Screwing with us.
He's made enough references to it now, and honestly, I think we'll all be let down if we don't see it. And I've given this some thought over the last couple of days because a lot of what I hear from most people and really what I've thought leading up till now was I want to see Cena have one more match with Randy Orton because that's one of the big feuds that he's known for. But when I really think back on it, Cena and CM Punk had better stories. Their
They
feud was a
did.
better story, and and this might be heresy, but I would much rather see Cena and Punk go one more round than Randy Orton and Cena.
Oh yeah. Well, not Punk. Cena and Orton's feuds were always like good guy versus bad guy, of course. But with Punk, he was just like his storyline back in the day, especially the early 2010s, was the company was against him. Like he's a good guy, but the company won't let him shine, and I think that carried a lot of their storylines.
And I mean, as much as I love Randy Orton, out of the big three of Cena's rivals, he's third for me. I mean, Edge had better stories too.
Edge.
I know
All
you have
those
The Rock
Edge
in one of
matches.
those three.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really count him as one of the big three because he only had the two.
You can't talk about John Cena without
Well,
talking
you
about his
can't. You
2-year
can't, like,
rivalry
the
with
it's
The Rock.
almost like
build-up-
I have that over here, like in its own separate category. Of
The
Yeah, 'cause
build-up
it's the
was
best.
the
one-offs.
build-up was better than the matches, and you know it.
Of course, but does that make the program bad? No.
No,
The
but
program-
that makes
the
all the
program was
build-ups
iconic.
suck.
Twice in a Lifetime was my childhood, but not really my childhood. I was in college, but
Not
you know.
everything revolves around The Rock.
that's not what I'm saying. That has nothing to
That
do
is
with
exactly
exactly
what
what
you're
I was
saying.
just saying. I was just saying, you pointed out Cena's top three feuds, and you just made it a point not to mention The Rock.
Top,
And I
top
think
three
I
are
think-
the Rock is not in those three. He had multiple
So who are
matches
your
with
three?
all of the
It's-
other three.
Who is your three? It's Orton, Edge, and who?
And Punk.
And Punk. Okay.
He had multiple matches with all three of them.
CM Punk, Randy Orton, and The Rock.
Man,
That's a
this
big
man
one.
just
That's what he's known
continues to
for.
commit blasphemy. Continues to do it.
Yep. Okay.
First, we had the whole entrance is better than Undertaker, and now we've got this nonsense. Man, get out of here! Get out of here!
He's right.
Get
Okay.
out of here!
The Rock's
Move
entrance
on from this
is
segment.
way better than the Undertaker's. The Undertaker walks out and he's just like stiff as a board, walks like a robot. The Rock has electricity going everywhere. The lights are perfect.
I'm almost
He's got
certain
the
Undertaker does
perfect
too.
music. He walks out and he stands under the spotlight. Gosh, it's perfect.
Oh,
It's a good
oh.
entrance, but
Perfect.
let me tell you what the best entrance of all time is. It's
Don't say
the-
Dolph Ziggler.
No,
Don't.
it's
All right.
it's like the
surrounded by
jacket.
idiots.
The jacket with Chris Jericho when he'd come out. That was the best entrance. When I was a kid, that was
surrounded
fantastic to
by
watch. That was fantastic. It was just the bomb.
Oh, I'm surrounded. by
Okay,
idiots.
moving on. Since y'all are so lame,
Oh.
Penta debuts in WWE and he goes against Chad Gable. He's his secret opponent for the week. How are we feeling about Penta?
Secret.
Yeah, secret. Everyone pretty much knew. Everyone had Penta masks on in the
worst kept
crowd.
secret
Was it-
wrestling.
Yeah.
Was it Pat McAfee that said that right
Yeah.
when he walks out? They go, the worst kept secret in wrestling.
Yeah.
And he was right. Yeah, for
It was
sure.
very bad. Yeah, they did not keep it under wraps pretty well. But how are we feeling about this match, man? I thought that me personally, this was match of the night.
Probably.
Me personally, I mean,
No,
watching
no, it wasn't match of the night. No, never mind. I forget about
No.
it. But it was close.
It was
Most
a
Raws
solid.
it would have been.
It was a solid debut. I think it was pretty obvious that Penta had some nerves,
Yeah.
right? Even the promo he cut after the match felt a little rocky.
nerves. You
Me
can
and
hear the
me and
nerves.
Will were texting during the match, and there was a couple of spots in there that gave me Sin Cara vibes. You know, like a little botchy, but hey, it's a big platform. He's not used to being on a stage that big. He wrestled for AEW, right? And AEW has about 3.5 fans in the crowd week to week. Sorry, AEW, you suck. But I thought it was a solid match. He had some good spots in there, and I think he can be great. I don't think he cuts great promos. He needs some work there, and I'll tell you, I'm getting real tired of these folks coming out, and I don't care what language you speak or where you're from. That's totally fine, but don't try to come out and cut a promo in English unless you're ready to cut a promo in English. If it's going to come out broken, hard to understand, and all over the place, you can't get your thoughts out, then let's hang on until we get a better mastery of the English language.
Well,
But other
okay.
than that,
It's his first match. It was like it's his introductory. Nobody
no,
in
it's
the crowd
not.
barely
He
knows
wrestles all
him.
the time. And I was talking about his promo.
Okay.
No,
Here's
I
time.
understand
Okay.
that. But he also just
I'm
wrestled
gonna-
a 20-minute match and is tired probably from flipping.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, I'm gonna
You're not
pour
wrong.
cold water on this whole thing. One, I am beyond tired of people who can't cut promos in English. If you can't do it,
Thank
don't
you.
bother. Do like they do with Shinsuke. Have it on the board with the captions. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But beyond the cold water again, if your debut match is against Chad Gable and you go 25 minutes, good luck ever being a main eventer in WWE.
Hmm.
He is the same size as Chad Gable, already a problem. And he goes 25 minutes against Gable, who hasn't sniffed a belt in who knows how long? Nah, man. It's a good match, and he'll be a good mid-carder, but that's it.
Special shout out to Gable for selling the Mexican
Oh,
Destroyer.
that
or
was
Yeah,
whatever
great.
they
that was
called it.
such a good
That
sell.
was- I mean, Chad Gable is just in ring the most underrated performer.
And if you could give him
out there,
4 inches of height, he would be champion.
Yeah, I don't even care about that. I think you will eventually see a Daniel Bryan type movement for Chad Gable.
Eventually,
Assuming we don't
but it's
keep
not
having
yet.
people come back from Hollywood. But
Did y'all guys hear that they were chanting like "You suck" when he was coming out with his entrance,
I've
like
been
Kurt
doing
Angle?
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very Kurt Angle esque. I
That's
don't like it.
great.
I don't like that they're trying to push him in the corner. It's not. I mean,
It's the audience.
wrestling's all about
He's not doing
individuality.
That's
And I
what he
don't-
is. He's Kurt Angle 2.0 though.
No, he's not.
Kurt Angle
No, he's
2.0.
He is though. He literally is.
He is.
He's what they tried to do with Jack Swagger. He's
Except they succeeded this time.
Jack Swagger.
Jack
Jack
Swagger. Jack Swagger,
I
man.
mean, he's going to be a good mid carder, and we need more mid carders that are
Agreed.
actual
That-
like
that
good
I
mid
can agree
carders.
on.
But
Okay.
this whole internet fiasco, like he's going to the main event, nah, brother.
Right.
Sheamus and Ludwig. How are we feeling about this match? It was. I'm pretty sure. Was this not the runner-up match for the IC title? Is that what this?
I don't think it was
I
an
mean,
official first contenders match for the IC title, but
I think
it kind of was
it's clearly intended that way, though.
Yeah.
right. It's the unannounced.
Well, Braun
one, yeah.
Breaker was in the crowd.
Yeah, they're signaling it, like
Yeah.
even though they don't say it.
I'm actually kind of mad.
It's announced
I'm
for Saturday night's main event.
yeah.
Man,
We'll
no,
talk about
yeah.
that a little bit.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
but
mad by that outcome. I can't lie to you. I'm one of the few that actually likes Ludwig Kaiser.
I don't think you're one of the few. I think a lot of people.
No,
I like him.
I really like Ludwig, and I really wanted him to win this match. Sheamus. Does Sheamus really need the IC title? I mean, or even like a match in the IC title
I don't
spotlight?
think Sheamus needs it, but I think Braun Breaker needs it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. They'll definitely put on a good match for sure. But you just always want to see, for me at least, I want to see Ludwig get a chance with a title match or a title at some point. Maybe a United States title at some point for that guy. But
I don't really
overall-
want Ludwig in this particular title picture until he's going to win it. I don't
Yeah.
want him to get here
Agreed.
and just be like Braun Breaker food on
Yeah.
Saturday night's main event, because that's what'll happen if he wins this. He's just food for Braun Breaker.
Yeah, for sure.
Like-
And I think Sheamus was the good pick here. I'm not saying that Ludwig should have
Sheamus will
won.
give Breaker a much better match right now.
Oh yeah.
It'll-
Oh yeah. Well,
And
Ludwig
the
still
loss
has
doesn't hurt.
Ludwig still has a ways to go, and the fact that he was even in a runner-up match for the IC title, he's getting somewhere. So
I don't know. I mean, there's another side to me that really feels like Sheamus being in the match makes it way too predictable. I don't.
Oh, it's
I
definitely.
don't see a
predictable. I
world
don't
where
like
Sheamus
that.
beats Braun Breaker for that belt. I do see a world where Ludwig does, though. So I don't know.
I do
I thought
too.
their match together was good, Sheamus and Ludwig. He continues to excel on the mic, in the ring, week to week. I agree with Will when he says, when I see him go for that IC title, I want to see him win it. But at the same time, I don't like the idea of of the predictability of the match that we now have. But we'll talk about that match a little later.
Yeah.
Speaking on the predictability part, and I'll get to more of it later when we talk about the whole show, but they have to convince me Saturday night's main event is more than just Raw / SmackDown 1.5, where we put on a few good matches. Until that's proven, I'm not treating it like a PLE, which means that title's not changing hands. I don't care who's in that match.
I don't know. They like to change hands on Raw and SmackDown these days.
They do every now and then.
Jay, Tiffany Stratton. I mean, I really like that Triple H is doing that too. It's a welcome change. It felt like for a long time Raw and SmackDown were just like you could catch the highlights on YouTube if you really needed to. That nothing big was going to happen. I like that some big payoffs are happening, and it's really great. You know, we've got to a point now where we have these great feuds that we don't have enough room on the PLEs to pay them all off.
Yeah,
and they have to pay off on Raw and SmackDown, and that's why you're starting to see some of the titles change hands there. So I actually really like that.
Yep, I really like the match in general. I thought it was really good. Sheamus and can't think of his name, Braun Breaker, will definitely put on a good match at Saturday Night Main Event. Next topic, we're talking about the Judgment Day's promo in the backstage area. Of course, Finn is getting ready for his fight with old dude, and Liv shows up, and Dominic also shows up, gives her flowers. She's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay." Throws the flowers away, and let's see. We're talking about let me think. Will we see the Judgment? Okay. The Judgment Day story as a whole. What are we thinking? Are we gonna branch off? Is this gonna continue, or is the Judgment Day gonna, if it split up? I mean,
I feel like this and the segment later on we'll get more definitive answers. But this is the first sprinkling of this Raw where you go, "Oh, this might actually be over. They might actually be wrapping the story up."
God for that, please. I was hoping she'd throw the flowers on the ground, stomp on them, look at everybody and go, "That's it, I'm through with all of you," and then walk away, and then it would be over. I am sick of the Judgment Day. I've said this before. I'll continue to say it. Their story's over, and a little later in the podcast, we'll discuss the main event of the show, which I hope is the stamp of it's over for the Judgment Day. But
yeah, we'll get there though. We'll get there for the
dude.
This segment shows Trouble in Paradise.
It did its job.
I think there's some story to tell in regards to Liv and Dom and their split. I think there's some good storytelling there. But hopefully spelling the end of the Judgment Day.
Look, this storyline doesn't end until JD McDonough is WWE champion, of course. Okay. So keep dreaming, dude.
No, I will quit watching wrestling.
Yeah. Yep.
That's where they sit around
JD McDonough at Royal Rumble pointing towards the Mania sign. It's going to happen. Just wait.
That's where if this was the actual writer's room, you would get kicked out of the video call.
That's right.
Hey, yeah. Big forehead and all, man, at WrestleMania, you know. All right. Gunther makes his return and is confronted by Jey Uso. They're going to go one-on-one for the World Heavyweight title. They cut a really good promo. Jey actually surprised me with this promo he cut while Gunther was walking away. So what are we thinking about that, guys? Is that going to be a good match?
Another irritation I'm going to pour cold water on. I'm tired of seeing Gunther once a month. It's getting real old.
Think so? You want to see him more often?
Yeah, he's not Roman Reigns, and
he's not Roman. Like he doesn't get to do, you don't get to do this with the championship. I don't know when this happened. The World Heavyweight Championship is supposed to be on the show every week.
To be the working man's title, yeah.
When did becoming the champion mean that you work a part-time schedule? Right?
To be fair, he does wrestle most PLEs. I'll give him that.
No, but still, he's
But
not
he's not on the show enough.
show
Yeah, he's not.
every week. And that, to me, look, not everybody can pull that off the way Roman Reigns did. And I
No.
think Roman Reigns found a niche where he plays kind of the king character. And sometimes less is more with that character. It feels like a big event when he shows up. I'm not there with Gunther, and I haven't been, and I
Nor
won't
does
be.
he have all the lackeys to do that.
Right. And all it makes me want to do is say, take the strap off of him tomorrow. Put it on somebody that wants to be there. There's no reason Cody Rhodes should do more dates than the world heavyweight champion. It just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, the WWE champion.
So
is
do
currently
you
doing more
make with your guys' frustration with this? Do you let him drop the belt to Jey Uso at Saturday Night
hell
Main
yeah.
Event?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have
think so
wanted,
too.
I think Jay being the world heavyweight champion
Deserves
headed
it.
towards WrestleMania creates some really good intrigue and some good storytelling.
And Gunther can still be the attraction wrestler. That's fine. We got plenty of those. He can do the Brock Lesnar thing, show up every now and then.
Yeah, but I don't even think he has earned that. He has not earned that.
Whether he's earned it or not, that's the way they're booking him. So they might as well just take the
Well, he's
title
just
off of
going
him
to
and
get
treat him like
forgotten.
it.
Now he's going to start heading in this direction, and I'm going to start calling him Vladimir Kozlov. I don't give a damn
That's
about
fine.
his part-time schedule. I don't want him to hold a belt. And if he wants to show up every once in a while, well, cool. You can enter the Women's Royal Rumble or something and be a joke. If you want to compete for one of the titles, either you're Roman Reigns and you work a part-time schedule, or you're here and you work a full-time schedule. That's the way I see it.
And even then, I'll be the first to tell everybody. Back when Roman was doing that schedule and he had the belt, I hated it then too.
We
I
still
was
didn't love it.
complaining.
Exactly.
I don't like it. I don't like
he's
it at all.
arguably the best to ever do it. So
And this is no exception. Gunther's
the
no
Roman's
exception.
way up here, and Gunther's not even on the screen.
Nope.
So, but
Right,
anyway,
yeah,
Jey Uso,
was,
if they drop that title, you can finish. I'm
But-
sorry.
the segment was good. It was a really great promo. I think Gunther cuts great promos.
Oh, he's great.
When he called Jay a tag team wrestler. I mean, he does a really good job of making the insults feel personal and setting up for what's going to be a really good match. I think it's going to be a great match. I personally would like to see the belt go to Jay. I don't know if they'll do that. They've made sport over the last couple of years of setting Jay up for success, and then he always loses. I don't know why that's the way we book Jay, but that's the way we do. Other than his one IC title run that he had for 2 weeks or whatever it was. But I'm excited for the match. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it elevates. I mean, to your point, you mentioned Saturday night's main event doesn't feel like a main event show. Well, this match pulls it in the other direction for me.
Helps.
So
it definitely helps.
Yeah. A title.
I will say
a good title
whatever
change a good title change would definitely excel Saturday
I will
night.
say
main event.
whatever we want, and I'm with Alex here. I want Jay. Realistically, I know damn good and well Gunther's going to slap the shit out of him and walk out with the belt. And we're going to be talking about it next Monday about how Gunther's going to have some heavyweight championship match at WrestleMania.
That's a good point. Well, so here's my thing. So Jay has lost twice to Gunther, correct? Is it twice? And fun fact, I actually saw them at a house show fight over here where I live, and it was for the IC title. Of course, Gunther won that. So there might be three. I've seen Jey Uso get beat by Gunther 3 times. And
he's been beat.
Yeah.
he's a punching bag. He shouldn't be.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
He's over. He's got all the makings of a world champion. I just think the hesitation for them comes from we need to pull Jay to be in the bloodline storyline at any given moment, so we don't want him with the belt. But I actually think it creates a really interesting dynamic where Roman Reigns is chasing a world title, and his brother, who used to essentially work for him, has a world title. Right? There's bound to be a little friction there when maybe you feel threatened by your cousin. So, hopefully we don't get back into that again. We had that several months ago, years ago, SummerSlam, Tribal Combat, and all that. But still, I still think it's a good dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's great. Let's see. Women's first IC title holder to Lyra Valkyria How are we feeling about this, guys? Do we think Dakota Kai deserved this match a little bit more than Lyra? Or what?
I understand why they put the belt on Lyra.
Explain.
I mean, she's younger. She's the newer talent. She's the lesser known. She needs the belt more. But I can't get over the fact that Dakota Kai feels like to me, with her work around damage control, just has earned a title.
She has
run
worked
for me.
her ass off, and the fact that she did not get that title is upsetting.
This feels like one of those like championships and like matches where it's like those of us who watch this every week feel really bad for Dakota because she deserves this.
Definitely.
For me, she deserved this.
I think we got that story with the U.S. title. We gave it to Chelsea Green.
So we can't do it for both. Like I get it.
You know, the match was really good for me.
Yeah, it was. This was second on my night.
This was second of the night.
Yeah.
Exactly. Agreed.
Mhm.
Aside from the main event,
Yeah.
really well wrestled. Good. They told a good story in the ring. It wasn't the outcome that I had hoped for or wanted,
Mhm.
but on the bright side, I think Dakota Kai can actually start to show some of her personality in a bigger way in pursuit of the title, as opposed to being
I
the
would
champion.
love for it to be a triple.
Right. Yeah. I think, obviously you'd like to see the prestige of being the first IC title go to Dakota Kai, but at the same time, this is one of those where I when I think on it, I'm fine either way. I just want the story to be good, and I want to see the mid card for these women start to really flesh out a little bit. We need some more players. We need some good stories, and it needs to not feel like a jumbled mess. So I think this creates a story that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Sami Zayn and The Miz face off and have a segment in the backstage area. Of course, you know how The Miz is, pushing all the buttons, saying that all he does is help Roman Reigns. When is he going to help himself? What did we think about their match that they gave that night? Does it set up a one-night grudge, or is it just a one-night grudge match? Does it serve Sammy to win this fight? What do we think?
This is the one moment in the night for me where I go, you're going to have to show me where this is going, Triple H, because I don't have
I got
the
zero
faintest idea
Really
of what's going on here.
I really couldn't figure out
or
why we were
they're
watching
together.
that.
It
I
was
know-
like a Sammy
I know why they
squash
did it.
match.
I know why
Like,
they did it. It's getting to the point to where Sammy's taking too many losses. He doesn't feel like a credible threat to anybody, and I think we needed to give him a win. And who do we go to every time we need to give somebody a win? Drum
Miz.
roll, please. Right?
I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that
Miz is a
simple.
good
as
worker.
we deem it up.
They put on what I would call mediocre match, but it puts a W in the column for
Mhm.
Sammy. And with Sammy and revolving around this bloodline storyline, he can't be a pushover. He can't be somebody that's easily defeated or somebody that always loses. So I know why they did it. I just think it was a little bit of a Frankenstein storyline. It just was put together very quickly and executed very quickly. So mediocre.
There's more than that.
Not.
I hope there's more to
Yeah,
it.
not
I
too much to
really
talk
do.
about there. It's just a match.
Yeah.
So Rhea makes her return with the new women's world heavyweight champion. Then cuts a
I booed
promo,
this segment harder.
and guess who she's interrupted by? Nia Jax, of course. Oh no. Of course, I actually was really proud of Nia. I thought she did pretty good on the mic that night. She was okay. She was getting the reaction from the
Kick him
crowd like
out.
she was
Kick him
supposed
out of
to.
here. Get him off the call. Get him out of the podcast.
Yeah,
To be fair to Nathan and Nia, I'll be the first to tell you, and I'm on record
I
on the
hate Nia.
podcast,
I
and I
can't
don't
stand
like
her.
her. She is
Look at the
not
shock on my
trash on the mic. She
Look
is
at the
not
shock on my
trash
face.
on the mic.
She's not terrible.
Given. I absolutely despise her being anywhere near a title.
Yeah.
And this is no different. I hate it. I don't. The segment made no sense to me. These are two SmackDown wrestlers that have more interest. Bailey had a match later on in the week for a SmackDown Women's title, and Nia, last I checked, was a SmackDown wrestler herself. Made no sense to me. I didn't understand the segment at all.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Do you
This
guys
was
think that
terrible.
she's going to move to Raw, or is she going to stay on SmackDown?
She needs to move to NXT.
She needs to move to AEW.
I could go about 6 deep in NXT.
TNA. Oh man!
I think she would fit in perfectly at AEW with their 8.5 fans every week. I think they'd do well there. No, truthfully, I think I saw her interrupt Rhea's homecoming, and I was like, "Oh no, please!" Because this would be worst case scenario. Nobody wants to see this match. And then Bailey kind of came out, and I kind of get the feeling that maybe Bailey and Rhea Ripley is going to be the match for WrestleMania, and that they're working towards that. I think that would be a great match. I think it would be a great match. I think we had Bailey on SmackDown compete for the world title and lose as a way to propel her to Raw. And I think it makes sense. And it's one of the few big matches that Rhea has left to do. She's worked Charlotte, she's worked Becky, she's worked Liv. And I would much rather see that than her versus Nia Jax.
Oh, so I think the entire world would agree. I'm so glad.
Alexa Bliss too.
Yep, that's true. I'm so glad that Bailey intervened and Nia Jax pointed her out because last week we were talking about it was like, oh, Tiffy's gonna get her redemption match with Nia, and I was like, her music hit, and I was like, I know, but Lord have mercy, please, I'd rather see that than Rhea versus Nia Jax.
But Triple H even knows that nobody wants to see it because he gave Tiffany Stratton a great sparring partner on Friday and let her put on one hell of a match before she hits the bad match.
That's later.
But we'll get to it. I have way more thoughts on that match. Don't worry. I got plenty left.
All right, guys. Now we're to the main event of Raw Netflix 2, which happens to be Finn Balor and Damian Priest in a street fight. There was a lot going on in this match. People were going through tables, kendo sticks, chairs, well, you name it. This match was actually a street fight, and it felt like it. It had tension. It had drama. It was there. This was the best match that these two have had.
Okay,
100% it was.
This match was good, but it would have been perfect on a little PLE called Bad Blood several months ago. This is what the match should have been at Bad Blood. I was there. I was in the building. All three of us were.
All three of us.
That match that night fell flat. It had no stipulation, and there felt like no real tension between them. This match felt raw. It had some great spots. It felt like they were really putting themselves on the line for a grudge match, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great match. It's just it's too little, too late, and I don't care to see this story anymore. So appreciate the greatness of the match, but
I mean, it was a great match. The stipulations helped these two a lot. I feel just in general.
Yeah.
And this felt like an ending to me, though. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, and I mean, I know historically feuds never end on random Raws in the middle of a pay-per-view cycle, but it just felt like an ending.
It felt like an ending, but it was a match that was little too late. It needed to happen months ago.
It's too late. But
you know what I would do? Here's what I do. Here's how we end the Judgment Day storyline once and for all. Elimination chamber, a mixed elimination chamber. Put everybody that's ever been in the Judgment Day in there, and let's just have them go at it. Tables, ladders, chairs, whatever. I don't care. Throw it all in there. If they all get injured, then so be it. I just want the Judgment Day story to end. I don't care. Let's have a first blood match. Just throw it all in there. Want it all in there. This is not the end. If they start Raw next week with Finn Balor talking about how mad he is at Damian Priest, I'm going to kick my take screen. I'm so tired of this crap.
Lord have mercy on my soul.
Raw this week is probably going to be pretty rough because they've got some pretty rough competition on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they're going to have a really rough time keeping eyes on the product.
True.
All right, guys. We're moving to the SmackDown portion of the podcast. So we open up the show. Rey Mysterio comes out. He's in his hometown crowd, with the intentions of declaring himself for the Royal Rumble. We have a lot of Hall of Famers declaring themselves for this Rumble, and we have, like we said earlier, we're starting to have a pretty stacked cast. But KO comes out, interrupts him, says, "Oh, if you win the Royal Rumble, you got to fight me because I'm the real champion. I have the Winged Eagle, whatever." But this segment also leads to them having a match later on in the night. Was this a good segment or not?
I mean, I always enjoy a legend in their hometown.
Oh yeah,
doing the old, song and dance that they love. The KO stuff. Maybe I'm just a Debbie Downer, but I have no faith that he will take a belt off of Cody. And I don't care how good KO is on the mic, and he's excellent, and the segment was great. But it's all like building up to the whole Cody thing. They have not done anywhere near a good enough job of convincing me somebody can take this belt off of Cody Rhodes. And it's definitely not going to be Kevin Owens. I mean, they can even let him trot around that Winged Eagle belt all they want to. It makes no difference to me. He's not taking the belt off Cody. It'll be a decent match, but that's it.
Yeah, I think KO showed you on this Friday night SmackDown what he's great at. And that is great on the mic. He can set up a great match for a SmackDown or a Raw and deliver on that. But to your point, I don't believe that he's ever going to be the world champion again, not in the landscape and the altitude that wrestling has gotten to. And at the end of the day, the segment was good. I really liked the angle they played about KO has never had a match with Rey Mysterio. So we kind of got something unique here. And ultimately, I thought it does nothing to serve the story of Cody and KO. It does give you a little bit of cheap heat because he's being mean to the hometown hero Rey Mysterio. I will
to get Rey on the show, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, I took the main thing I took from this segment is a little more excitement for the Royal Rumble because I'm starting to see where we're going to get these really great interactions in this Royal Rumble of things we just don't get to see anymore, right? You don't get to see CM Punk and Rey Mysterio go at it anymore, and we probably won't ever again because when CM Punk's on screen, he's facing A-list guys, right?
One of the bigger
and
guys.
that's not to say Rey Mysterio is not that, but it's just I don't see a world where that match happens again. Same thing with John Cena and Rey Mysterio. Same thing with John Cena and Seth Rollins. Like I'm seeing all these people enter their names into the Royal Rumble, and I'm getting really excited about just having a moment in the ring.
Even if it's only a moment and somebody gets hit with a 619, it'll be cool. It's cool to see.
These are it's going to be kind of a saying goodbye moment because some of these are matches we used to see regularly on Raw.
Yes.
We used to see John Cena versus Rey Mysterio. That was something you would see on a random Monday 10, 15 years ago. Now you don't. And so, I mean, cool to see him declare. I think for the Royal Rumble, he's going to elevate the match because, man, Rey Mysterio can still go. I don't know how this guy who's closing in, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's headed towards mid-50s.
I mean, he's north of 50. Yeah.
He is still whooping tail in there, man. I mean, we'll talk about his match later, but that guy is still one of the best in-ring technicians working today.
Absolutely.
Sure. All right.
I will say, in regards to this whole, we need to pump the brakes on everybody entering the Rumble because I need to not know 25 or 28 of the 30.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to have fun the night of, we have to leave off a few names and a few spots there where I don't know what's coming.
I'm okay with them announcing half.
Yeah, half's good.
I'm okay with
but we have to pump the brakes and not do all 30.
as long as the people they keep announcing are people that I want to see in the match, I don't care. I really
Like,
don't.
if they
I do
go
want
JD
some
McDonald's in
surprises.
the Royal Rumble, I'd be like, no, we're not doing that.
Right. I do want some surprises, but I don't want them to spoil everything. But I also, if they got more A-listers that want to come out and declare, well, heck, I'm cool.
That's fine, but just keep a surprise or two behind.
Let's get Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold in there.
Oh
Oh no!
no, sir, no Hulk Hogan.
No
no.
to who?
No
Stone
Hulk.
Cold?
No Hulk Hogan. No.
Dude,
No,
hey,
no,
hear me out here.
Boo.
Hulk
no.
Hogan's
Boo.
music
Boo
hit.
this man.
It's the NWO music. He comes out to
No, boo
the
this
biggest
man.
heat.
Some heat's
could.
just heat.
Do
Yeah.
not ignore what he just said.
Some heat is deserved and it's just heat, and that's Hulk.
I would rather see Nia Jax declare for the men's Royal Rumble.
I would too.
All right.
I would rather see Hulk Hogan win this year's Royal Rumble than see Nia Jax.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, brother.
No more Hulk.
Please, God. All
No
right.
more Hulk.
To the next segment, we get Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes. It was set up last week. Jimmy cuts a strong promo. Melo also has a pretty good promo, and I think that they had a fantastic match, especially the ending, Fatu, and Tama Tonga. Oh, was it Tama? Yeah, it was Tama.
Yeah.
They interfere. It's good to see Jimmy back in singles. Very, very, very warm to the heart. He did a fantastic job. My one pick with this match, and flame me if you want, this match was a little too long for me. It kind of seemed to drag, which is not bad. I mean, more wrestling, whatever. But it just seemed to it seemed like that they were really banking on this match to kind of drag out the runtime. And that's okay.
Right. That was the point I was going to make. We've got 3 hours to fill, and it's not like Raw. You can't cut it off at 2.5 hours once you told the
Still a
story.
great match, but it went on for a little too long.
Here's my hot take. I think Jimmy Uso is better than Jay. You could call me nuts all you want, but his promos are deeper. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Jey Uso fan. I believe in Jey Uso. But Jimmy's promos just seem like he's being himself a little more. It's not just the surface level yeet, elevating my tone. He has a little more oomph in his words. And I'm excited to see Jimmy go on a solo run. I think Jimmy is going to be fantastic, and he deserves his shine a little bit. He's a better in-ring technician than his brother. He's a better promo. I think he's just been plagued by some injuries and had some things that have kept him out of the ring over the last year. So his brother's got a bit of a head start on him.
I will say, with the match going, feeling like it's a little long, I think this is two guys that aren't used to having that much time just to go. Is part of it. I'm going to take a side route from Alex. I'm not going to say he's better than Jay. I'm going to say he could be better than Jay. We have to book it right. We have to keep letting him do stuff like this. He's not there yet, but he certainly has the potential to be, in my opinion. I agree.
That's a better way to say it. I would agree with you and say he has more potential.
Yes, he does.
That I would agree with.
But he could get there real fast, and he could because you feel those promos, and like you say, Jay's a very face value and like yeah. But Jimmy's hit you, it's still in a face way. He still got himself over, but it felt more real, and the feel more real parts almost always end up in the end getting you more over than face value stuff.
Right.
Okay. Enough about Jimmy. How are we feeling about Carmelo Hayes? Did he do good tonight or that night with his promo and his in-ring ability? Are we liking Carmelo Hayes? What's going on here?
I think Carmelo is another one of these guys that's just, by nature of his size and how they've handled him, not necessarily a punching bag more than he's just always going to be at this like upper mid card scene. Like, he's good for building Jimmy up, but I think we all can agree this was a building Jimmy up match. This was not a what's Carmelo Hayes going to do after this kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he feels that way. And every time I see Carmelo, it's like he's a good dance partner, gonna have a good match, and the other guy's going over and moving on.
Every time I see
He hasn't
Carmelo
caught his
Hayes,
stride yet. He hasn't found his character yet. I mean, I get he's him and the whole shtick. I don't think that's going to be his ticket to the main event. And he's one of those that if he can find that character, then he'll end up in the main event. If he can't, he's going to stay floating in the mid card, and he'll be, like Will said, a good dance partner. But that'll be it.
Mm-hmm. Every time I see Carmelo Hayes, I get excited because I think I'm looking at Trick Williams, but then it ends up being Carmelo. Because I'm like, oh yeah, it's Trick. Oh no, it's Carmelo. It's bad when when Trick, he's still in NXT and he's a little bit more over than Carmelo. I think they hit with Trick Williams at what they wanted to do with Carmelo Hayes, but they didn't do it with him.
Here's my question. We're gonna go off the rails for a second. Do we keep guys in NXT too long?
No,
because I feel like this is an example, a classic example of I was watching NXT fairly often when Carmelo Hayes was on it. He felt like a main eventer there.
Mm-hmm.
He was working good. He had good promos, good matches, and then they call him up after he's lost the belt, after he's kind of fizzled out, and it kind of fizzles.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I felt that way multiple times, where it's like guys come up and they don't feel like a big deal.
I think that's completely up to them. You get the time that you get on screen, and you've got to either grab people or you don't. I mean, I could make the argument to the other side and say we keep people too long. Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton would have been stars if you cut their time in NXT in half.
Oh,
yep.
Right? I think at the end of the day,
that's my point though. Bring him up
sooner. It's
no
dog eat dog out here, man.
There's no substitute for depth. I think you have to have something impressive about you. To me, I look at Carmelo Hayes and I see a great in-ring technician, but those are a dime a dozen these days. Let's be honest. I need somebody with some personality. And honestly, I would say Braun Breaker kind of mirrors that too. I think he's got a better shtick. He's got a better character, but it's not much better. I don't think it's a ton better. I think he's the jock, the angry jock. And as soon as he finds the depth to his character, he's going to be a main eventer, no doubt. But Carmelo Hayes is caught in that whirlwind a little bit. He got to the main roster. He's trying to do the same thing he did in NXT, which works down there because you're in developmental. Now, when you come to the main roster, you've got to bring your best. And I don't think he's quite found that stride yet. If he ever does, then I think Carmelo Hayes absolutely could be a main eventer. What makes a person legendary is not just having a great character, but also being a great in-ring technician. You have to have both. You have to have both.
Have to have both. All right.
We'll say there's a
Unless
log
you're
jam
John
down
Cena.
there. I personally, I feel there's a log jam in NXT, and there needs to be a push upwards. We need to thin the Raw and SmackDown rosters a little of some talent that need, and because we got some NXT folks that need to come up.
Oba Femi.
Well,
yeah, Oba Femi,
yeah,
Trick Williams
I was gonna
is
say,
another one I would throw.
One other thing that I have noticed is the SmackDown roster is significantly worse than the Raw's roster right now. So
Netflix.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah,
that's also very true. But that just doesn't mean that you throw whoever the hell you want on SmackDown, though.
SmackDown will get better.
Still, what?
SmackDown will get better when they go back to 2 hours. I don't think SmackDown needs to be a 3-hour show. They don't have the talent for it right now on that show. Mm-hmm. And it does. It feels like we start to feel those segments that feel too long and too drawn out, like you were talking about with this match. Mm-hmm. Jimmy and Carmelo's match felt too long. Mm-hmm. The payoff was worth it, but it felt like we did a whole lot of wrestling and then it ended in disqualification.
Yeah.
Right?
Which feels bad.
Feels bad.
You know, this match is too long when we've been talking about it way too long, and we still haven't even gotten to the ending of this match. So, of course, the match ends. We get Hold on.
The interference happens.
That's right. The
So-
interference happens. What was it? LA Knight.
LA
Yeah,
Knight
this-
LA
versus-
Knight comes out,
who
and
comes out
then
to a
Braun.
great pop, by the way,
Yeah,
as always.
of course. And then Braun Strowman comes out, followed by Fatu and Strowman having a stare down.
Well, hold on. I think we got this mixed up. So the match
Yeah.
ends in DQ when Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga attack.
That's
And they
right.
attack
attack
Jimmy.
That's
Jimmy
right.
Uso.
Yeah. Okay.
We get then we have the clown car segment where you hear LA Knight's music come out.
That's
He
right.
comes out,
Everybody does their
gets
thing.
beat up. Braun Strowman comes out, things of that nature.
Completely didn't even think of. I forgot about it. The
Yeah,
DQ.
yeah, it was a long segment. Here's the thing about those
It was
big
a really
segments
long
where there's
segment.
lots of interferences, and I really appreciate how well they're starting to weave some of these storylines, but it can be too much sometimes. I think
I don't want to say the word clown car on the podcast every week, though.
right.
Let's get into that
but
I
it
point,
don't
feels
though.
like
want to
we're
sit
doing
here and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, here we go with another clown car segment." Out comes LA Knight. Out comes Braun Strowman. Here we go. They're fun, but can we not do it every week?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is this where Solo comes out?
Yeah, this is where
Yeah,
Solo
Solo
comes
comes
out, does
out.
the whole hand me the mic, and then walks away all
And says nothing, and then
emotional.
which
Yeah.
actually I'm okay with, because what follows after is a Jacob Fatu promo, and I love this man on the mic. I love him. It is so exciting. I cannot wait till this man is on his own doing single promos, because we got a little taste of it that night. Even though it was
are we going
just
to do a Jacob Fatu is the tribal chief is that where we're headed towards?
We're headed towards a Fatu solo.
I
match.
love you, Solo.
Which is going to be awesome.
That's
I
what
think
I'm
that's gonna
smelling.
I think you have to have that match just from Jacob
To break
Fatu
that
has become
bloodline.
famous off of saying how much he loves
Yeah,
Solo,
you have to
and
I
then
love
we've got to
you.
turn it. Yeah, we need a I hate you Solo.
I
yeah,
hate you, Solo.
we'll get that.
Yeah,
But an odd dance partner, but an interesting one for sure for Fatu and Braun Strowman out of nowhere. But I'm down. I like Braun Strowman. It is definitely though an odd pairing.
is it
I
Is
hope
it?
they know what they're doing.
the monster versus the werewolf? That
I
sounds
mean,
like an odd pairing to you, Will.
No. The story, I get the story part. The story's not odd, but look at the two guys and look at the way they wrestle. That's an odd dance partner pairing.
Here's
right
the
there.
thing. Here's the thing. If you put Jacob Fatu in a ring and you had him stare down my glass of Angel's Envy bourbon, I'm not being paid by Angel's Envy.
No
to
free
say that.
shout outs.
People would be clamoring for that to be the main event of WrestleMania. Jacob Fatu's he's a hot ticket right now.
It, bro.
And
He's got it.
He
does
does.
have it.
I mean, that is the mark of somebody that has real presence in the ring. Is it doesn't really matter who he's staring at across the ring. We want to watch it. We want to see it. If we've never seen it, we want
Yeah.
to see it. And I think it's going to be a good match. I think they're a good pairing. I like the billing. Hopefully, I haven't seen them bill it this way, but they should, because Braun Strowman's the monster,
Werewolf
right?
versus monster.
Yeah, I mean that sounds really cool,
Mhm.
and could make a really
I'm sure
discoverable
they'll
match.
frame it that way in,
Yeah.
in their little thing
Yeah.
before the show.
Yep. I love that segment, though. That's probably my favorite part of the show so far.
I mean, I enjoyed SmackDown overall more than Raw this week.
I sure
know
I
that's
did
probably
as
a hot
well.
take, but I really enjoyed this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I am the opposite of the 3 hours. Even though that one wrestling match went a little long, I felt like the rest of the show didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I like 3 hours.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm kind of iffy about it. I don't like my programmings to be too long, but I don't like them to be short either. I always felt like 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours is good. And it's
For
bad.
SmackDown.
It's bad when you can point out, oh, they're stretching it. Hey, look, they're stretching it. It's bad when you can point it out, and you could definitely point it out through that entire segment.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
But even then, I like 3 hours.
that's not a bad take, man.
Because without 3 hours, we don't get this Piper Niven BFAB match that comes up next.
Yep.
Without the 3 hours, this segment right here doesn't exist.
True. Man.
That's why we have Raw. Put it on Raw. Thank you.
Netflix is not doing Piper Niven BFAB.
There's more than one show, Will. Sorry.
I mean, Raw's not doing Piper Niven BFAB.
Yeah.
They will eventually once the newness of Netflix wears off, I assure you.
So we get, of course, our next segment is Piper Niven versus BFAB. Looking up to set the next feud for the U.S. women's title. What are we thinking about this match? BFAB, I thought, did fantastic this match.
Good match.
Very solid match.
She surprised me. She hasn't wrestled. Correct me if I'm wrong. I missed things, but I haven't seen her in a single match. And she shocked me. I thought she did a really good job. Her promo skills, like, I'm gonna be honest. They had a backstage segment to set up this match, and I'm watching BFAB cut the promo with Piper Niven and Chelsea, and man, I wish Bianca Belair cut promos like this. I mean, if Bianca Belair cut promos like BFAB did this week, then she would be best of the best. I think the match was pretty good. I think it sets up, if I'm reading it correctly, it's setting up BFAB to be the next contender for the belt, which I'm excited for because I'm tired of seeing Meechin and Chelsea.
This is what the belt's there for.
Right.
This is exactly the point.
So we've got to move on. And it's actually accomplishing what we hoped it would. It's pulling more talent into the mid card. BFAB is now going to be a singles competitor to an extent. And I think it'll be a good match. So I'm excited. Yeah.
And if we're interested, that's a good thing.
Right.
And I think all three of us are interested to see the whole BFAB versus Chelsea thing play out. This is exactly what these belts are used for. I hope what is happening here can happen with the Intercontinental title on Raw. Because this is one of those, you could see this being a trilogy and being a nice little sideshow on SmackDown for the next couple of months.
For sure.
And that's good.
For sure. All right, guys. So we get to our what the beginning of SmackDown was leading to is KO versus Rey Mysterio in a 1-on-1 for the first time. How are we feeling about this match? Does Rey Mysterio still got it? I think he does. Still fantastic in ring.
Oh, yeah.
KO, of course. The stunners.
I mean,
the stunners. Stunners.
I mean, he can. These Kevin, for all of his not being quite at the very top of the roster, he can wrestle really well. That I want to make that clear to everybody listening. Like, I might have issues with the character and the promo work and him being that superstar level. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. This shows it. And shout out to 50-some-odd-year-old Rey Mysterio out here selling stunners like Austin's giving it to him 20 years ago. It was great. I'm glad Rey got a great match off in San Diego. A+ for me.
For sure.
He's 50 years old. At 50 years old, he's out here putting on matches like he's 25. I think it was a classic match. It's a match we've never seen before, not in WWE television. And I thought the ending was fantastic. I thought it was really cool to see this really grueling match, and then KO comes out on top, just barely. And he had this really earnest moment where he kind of like bowed to Rey Mysterio and went to shake his hand, and it's cool in my mind to think that was a genuine moment.
Was Kevin.
From
that was deep.
From Kevin Steen, right? The actual man.
Yeah.
To Rey Mysterio to say, man, what an honor to actually get in the ring with you. And then obviously he sets him up for the package power bomb, and you hear Cody's music snap. And then we go into the segment where now we're trying to build a little bit onto Cody versus Cody versus Kevin. So great match. Gave me everything I wanted to see. Kevin delivered. Rey Mysterio delivered. It's the best segment I've seen Rey Mysterio and
In a
what
while.
feels
In a long
probably
time.
since he had the match with his son at WrestleMania.
Just
For
shows
sure.
you Ray needs better dance partners overall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
underutilized for sure.
Yeah.
Him and Penta are probably gonna have a match real soon.
Well, that'll be fun.
That'll be
Yeah.
such a fun match to watch. I also want to point out I love the packaged pile driver or power bomb. What's it called?
There's a reason why.
Package pile driver. Sorry if I said power.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. Because we
I-
never see those type of things.
No, and I love how I love how they're like showing and presenting this move as like super dangerous. I love that they're using that as a driving force in the storyline.
It is. It's intimidating. I'll almost find it a little funny sometimes because like he just pulled it out on Rey Mysterio out of nowhere, and it almost feels like he's like, "Hey, come here, I'm going to kill you." Like,
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
It's interesting. Yeah, no, I like it. It's a good little addition to Kevin's character, and like this unhinged, could do anything at any moment type Kevin. That he just doesn't care if he's actually going to hurt you.
Yeah,
And I
And
think it's
he
a little
just snaps and
funny
hits you with a
thing.
pile driver, bro. Like what? Nobody does that.
And for us close watchers, he's also one of the few guys on the roster I trust with a power bomb.
Yeah.
With a
Pile driver.
pile driver.
Yeah.
Pile driver. There are very few guys on this roster I would trust. I do trust Kevin.
Mhm.
Correct.
He's one of the safest workers. And if we're gonna let anybody do it, Kevin's the guy.
For sure. All right. So we wrap up SmackDown with our main event, of course. We see
Match of the week.
What?
I said match of the week.
Oh, match of the week. Okay, we see Tiffany Stratton defend her women's undisputed title against Bayley. This match had fantastic spots. Their chemistry is really good. It's going on. Do we have this match continue to a PLE, or what do we do with this?
I don't
No.
think it will. I think this is like we were talking about earlier. I think this sets up Bayley for other things, but damn, was it a good match?
Was a great
Th-
match.
th- This is what when you saw Tiffany Stratton over the year, and all of us were like, "We can't wait till she wins the championship." This is why, right here.
Yeah.
This match right here is why she put on a better match than I've ever seen Nia Jax put on, or Rhea Ripley in the last year and a half. By the way, this was
Yeah.
a better women's championship match than we've had in a year and a half.
And I see what you're asking there. I almost wish we had saved this one for a PLE. That if it had not happened on this SmackDown, that maybe we would have
Oh,
seen.
it's definitely PLE worthy.
It
It's
was
main event
PLE worthy. It was like when the match was over, it ended. They both looked tired, beat up. They looked like they left it all in the ring. It serves a couple of purposes. The first one, this is how we want to set the tone for Tiffany's title reign.
Yes.
She just won. She won finally. She cashed in. She got the belt. We finally got that belt on somebody that we feel like has a great future. No offense, Nia Jax, but I didn't see that going anywhere. And now what I'm expecting as a fan out of Nia Jax is I want to see some great wrestling matches, and I want to see some great stories. She delivered both here. And Bayley is as good a dance partner as you could ask for in the ring. And I'll be honest, it was interesting to see. As talented as I feel like Tiffany Stratton is, she's still got some work to do. She's still got some work to do. There were a couple of moments in ring where Bayley was pushing the pace, and you could feel that she was trying to set up some big spots. And Tiffany got there, but she's not as snappy with it. But she's going to get there, and it's just great.
You can feel the newness, but you can also feel that she'll get there.
The talent behind the newness.
Yeah.
There's sometimes where they're new and they just don't know where to stand, and they look like they're standing around with their hands in their pockets. Tiffany doesn't look like that. She's just she's learning when she's in the ring with these people. That match with Bayley made her a better wrestler.
And
Right?
adds legitimacy to the character. Bayley is a 4-horse woman.
Yeah.
You can get no more legitimacy than wrestling one of those 4 women.
Yeah, I would like us to revisit this eventually in a PLE. Not right now, not for a couple of months. We've got some other matches to do, but It was a good one. I think they had in-ring chemistry more so than I believed they would have, and I'm excited. I think it sets Tiffany's title reign pace the way I want it set, and I'm excited for that.
This gets me excited for what I know is next for Tiffany, because there is a better dance partner left, and she's about to get her. And if she can do this with Bailey, wait till she gets Charlotte.
Right.
Because Charlotte is we can all agree, as much as I like Bailey, Charlotte's a better dance partner. And if she can do this, oh, just wait. That match could be fun.
That match might be an instant classic. Okay. Well, that wraps up SmackDown. So gonna have some thoughts and predictions on Saturday night main event. So a couple things that we know that's gonna happen on Saturday night main event is Gunther's gonna defend the World Heavyweight title with Jey Uso. Predictions on that and implications moving forward. Who's winning that? Are we dropping the title? Are we retaining? What do we think about that?
I'll be short here and let Alex give his. I'll give my time to Alex.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, of course, but
I'll let Alex go on here. But I'm gonna say Gunther wins this handily. I don't think this goes anywhere.
I disagree.
Yeah. My heart wants to say that Jey Uso is going to win this belt and walk out with it. But logic dictates to me that they've got bigger plans for Gunther, and especially since they let him show up once every 8 shows, they must think real highly of him. So, not holding a grudge, but yeah, I think Gunther wins. Gunther's going to go on to have, I don't know who his opponent's going to be for WrestleMania, but I think he holds the belt through WrestleMania, and they've got some plans in store for him. So, hate to see it. I'm tired of us putting Jey Uso up to be sacrificed to champions. And hopefully they surprise me. I think it would be
hopefully eat crow on Monday.
Yeah.
If they want to set up Saturday night main event to feel like a destination, like we need to watch it, then they're going to have to make some moments on screen, and this would be a real good opportunity for them to do that.
For sure.
It would.
I'm going to disagree with both of you. Gunther's not walking away with the world title on Saturday night main event.
I hope you're right.
I think Jey Uso cannot
We all
lose.
want you to be right.
For me,
we know you won't be though.
No. For me, I really do not want to see Jey Uso lose 4 times in my experience. Of course, I saw him at the house show fight for the Intercontinental title. For me, I don't want to see him get slaughtered by Gunther 4 times in a row. I don't want to see this deep down in my heart. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
You're going to.
No, I don't think so. I think Jey walks
I apologize in
Jey
advance.
walks away with the world title Saturday night main event. Mark my words. We'll come back to this next week.
Jey's going to lose.
I will add one last thing. I really, really hate sleeper hold finishes.
I agree.
Yeah, it feels.
And if we keep doing this, it's going to make me hate Gunther. I really hate it.
It feels like when you were lighting a bottle rocket when you were a kid and it just didn't go off. Like you just sit there and you're like,
bad.
oh my god, and then nothing happens.
It's
awful. Yeah, it's awful.
Okay. Another thing that we know that's going to take place on Saturday night main event is Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for that IC title. Who walks away there? I mean, Braun Breaker, I would for sure think walks away with the IC title.
Yeah, I'll yield back on this one and just make a quick prediction. I think this one's the most predictable match. Braun Breaker's not losing the IC title again for a while. I think we did the small venture where Jey Uso took it off of him for a couple of weeks, and I think that one's there to stay. I think it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a brutal match. It's going to be a fun one to watch, but it's ultimately way too predictable. Braun Breaker walks away retaining his title.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, definitely predictable here, but I will say I look forward to it. I think this is my match of the night candidate. I like their styles. I like the way they're going to mesh. It's 2 rough workers, and if Sheamus can keep up with the young gun, we could have a really fun match on our hand. I get it's predictable. That's probably going nowhere. I get all of that, but for a fun one-off, we could have some serious fun for a
It
20
could be a
minute
really
match
good
on
match. Yeah.
Sunday Night Main Event.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking. I'm looking forward to it. Moment of the night. Probably why I'm tuning in. Honestly,
Mhm.
this and the next match we're going to talk about. Probably the whole reason I'm there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, 1-on-1. Of course, this is going to be the clash of the Monster and the Werewolf. This match is, if Cody and KO don't literally kill each other in the main event, this will be the fight of the night.
Hot
Cody and
take.
KO's happening at Royal Rumble. Just so you know.
Oh, it's not happening at
it's a
Saturday
ladder
Night Main
match.
Yeah,
Event?
at Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
That's
a ladder.
okay.
I
You
thought
would,
that the
you
ladder
would not be
match was
blamed
happening.
for thinking they would do that at Saturday night's main event because it's
They've
not really that
almost
big of a
fixed
match.
it.
But
Yeah,
Oh, I thought that that's what they were setting it up for.
mm-mm.
Wow.
Man,
What's the
I
main
think
event then?
this, I would assume.
Jacob
Or,
Fatu
or
versus
maybe
Braun
Jay
Strowman?
and
World
Gunther may
Heavyweight
take the
title
final
is-
spot.
Yeah, the World Heavyweight
No.
title will go on last.
I
This
think
is-
Jacob and Braun are going to put on a really good match. I'm going to call it now. Solo Sikoa is going to interfere and cost Jacob Fatu this match. I think this is where they try to make Braun Strowman look strong, whilst also setting up Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu for what I believe will eventually lead up to be a WrestleMania match.
Could see this doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that happening. As much as I don't want that to happen, and I want Jacob Fatu to come away with a win, I just don't think that the Bloodline will let him. No way.
I think this is the perfect setup, like Alex said. Perfect setup for the interference from the forgotten tribal chief, whatever you want to call Solo Sikoa, to start taking it out on his lackeys in anger that they didn't help him enough.
Yeah,
It sets up, and they will put on good matches together. I do have faith in Fatu and Solo. So yeah, good setup match, and they'll probably have a good match. It'll be a weird looking style. We haven't seen this type of match in a long time, but
I'm excited.
should be
Saturday
if you've
night.
seen any of Jacob's older work, you know this is going to be brutal.
This is going to be rough.
He's going to be jumping and flipping off of stuff he shouldn't be jumping and flipping off of. I think Braun Strowman's more than proved he's willing to run through walls, right?
Mhm.
Literally and figuratively. I think this one's going to be a great clash. If his match,
And
Braun
Braun's gonna
Strowman's
catch him
last
and throw him
couple of
around a few
matches have been
times, too.
anything, to talk about. So I think it's going to be a great match, and I would this one's my match of the night contender. I think this one's gonna.
This is
gonna
also
deliver.
this easily takes fight of the night. Well, guys, anything we want to say in conclusion?
Enjoy Saturday night's main event. We'll see y'all for Royal Rumble predictions next week, y'all.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Bottom Line Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Nathan, followed by my boy Alex and Will, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Y'all say bye.
See you later.
Later, guys.